So Miguel asked me what Mama G's traditions is, right? So I come from a very chaotic, traumatic background. Like I told you, I went to 13 different schools from kindergarten to high school, right? I lived all across the United States, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, Venezuela, running out when I was 15 years old. And so that carries a lot of trauma, right? That I carried. And so I've gone through this whole healing journey to heal all the trauma that I lived. And along that way, I have learned all these modalities from indigenous peoples, from China, from India, learned so many different modalities. Like right now I'm learning about Mary Magdalene, right? And the depths of the priesthood. There's someone that's starting it. She just started it. I wasn't able to do it this round, but I already told her for next round I'm down. Like I've been called to that as well. I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. And so I grew up with a lot of shame about life, just for existing, just for being a woman.
Yeah.
Because I was a beautiful young woman and all the men desired me, and that was my fault. That they were pigs. It was my fault that at 13 years old, my ex-husband, who was 22 years old, started molesting me, right? But I already came from a life of molestation, so to me it was normal. And I was used to having grown men around me all the fucking time, and I was used to that life. So to me it was no big deal, And so I've gone through a journey of really being able to clearly express that, because I lived with so much shame and I carried every other motherfucker's blame. And so many women live in that shit, in the pits of hell. Because this patriarchy blames us for everything. Because if we're too pretty, it's a problem. Because if we're too smart, it's a problem. Because if we're too loud, it's a problem. But then if you're too submissive, that's a problem too, because then that's not who they fell in love with, and now they don't want you anymore because you're too submissive. And then they want to trample you even more because they need to prove their ego.
I'll make sure that's not.
So, because I've learned all that, the effects that I had in my life for choosing weak-ass men, that then made me have to submit myself, made me have to hide myself. I gained 40 pounds in a year because of the shame that I carried. And every day he would remind me of the shame that I carried. Right? He was very clear that this was my house, those were my kids, he's just my boyfriend. But yet he wanted the role of husband. And so many women are out there with that shit. We carry all this trauma in our womb. We carry all this trauma, and men too, from violations, from rapes. So many men, I have a lot of friends that were raped at a very young age. People that I've known, lovers of mine, that at the age of 6 years old, started having sex with a nanny.
That's crazy.
At the age of 8 years old, started having sex with their freaking 14, 16-year-old cousin. Like, what? So and there's men that live with that shame too, that were raped by other men.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, there's so much shame in our sexuality. There's so much shame in our pleasure. There's so much shame in us identifying with who we truly are. With the first time that my counselor was like, Glory, you have PTSD. I was like, what? No. What are you talking about? She was like, yeah, you do. And when I started the trauma therapy, that I started going into those memories, I had already gone through this deep cleansing. I did 28-day water fast in 2020, February of 2020. The whole
Crazy.
water fast and colonic cleanses, because I've been doing colonic cleanses since I was 7 years old, because my mother was a holistic doctor, right? Wow. But because I was so mad at her through all the shit she made me go through in life, completely blocked that part out. I wanted nothing to do with it, right? And so I went the other way, and I started getting hypothyroidism. I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's hypothyroidism. Okay, and I already knew because my hair was falling out. I gained weight. I couldn't stand the world. Like I couldn't stand myself. I'm like, damn, what the hell's wrong with you? And so I started self-medicating. Looked up what the minimum dosage was. I'm like, I need to do something. And then when I got insurance, the doctor was like, oh, you didn't do too bad. I'm going to increase it. And then a few months later, increased it more. A few months later, when I came, I was on 125 milligrams of Synthroid, and I had gained like 40 pounds. I was miserable. I was just miserable.
That was like to treat PTSD?
That was just because my throat chakra was completely shut down because of the PTSD.
Yeah.
It started with the fast. Like that unblocked like this whole, it was like a volcano of emotions, right? That I had bottled up inside of me for decades. I was, it was this whole thing where I started feeling everything all at once, right? I felt love, I felt hate, I felt anger, it was just all of these emotions that I had not allowed myself to feel because I was in survival mode raising 3 children. And I know so many women that just completely shut themselves down because they're in survival mode, because either they're a single mother or they're putting up with some asshole that is the one that pays all the bills. Right? And with the problem right now with all this push or this whole agenda of having young girls getting married. Like I did the whole Christian thing. I was a little church girl. I got married at 18 years old. I had my first daughter at 19 years old because we had to populate the earth with good Christian people. At 21, I already had 2 kids. And then I started seeing the reality of it, right? Because once that second child came, I saw the true nature of my ex-husband and how he started treating my first child. And he had done it already with my niece and with my brother and sister, but it was different when it's for your own child. To see all this and the pushing and the pushing and the pushing, it's heartbreaking because I know what it leads to. Because most of the men aren't worth shit. You know, and the fact that we have to fight for our rights right now, that's what Mama Jesus is about. You know, setting that we are equal, not the same, because we all have our strengths, you know. And that's the thing, our society is so unpolarized, right? Like men are acting like women are acting like men. Like, no, I'm in my soft era. We've been single for 6.5 years. So it's time Mama G gets a partner. I'm ready. And so it's been a challenge, right? Because that was my drug of choice. I never did drugs because I had 3 little kids, and that was my worry, my concern. If something happens to me, what happens to my children? But I always had a friend, right? And so to remove that drug of choice from my life was rough, right? Because I went through withdrawals. It's an addiction, like everything else, like sugar, like everything else. It's an addiction.
Emotions, everything.
Absolutely, but it's not real emotions, right? Because there's no real connection if you're not really in a partnership.
Yeah.
There's no real connection. And as women, as much as we say, oh no, it doesn't matter, bullshit, it matters. Our body remembers. We keep DNA of every single person we have an interaction with. Every single person. And so part of what I offer are steams to help cleanse our womb, our vagina, you know, our yoni. Cleanse our space, our sacred portal, because that's what we are. We're sacred portals, right? We bring life into this earth, right? But we just let any old dumbass up into our temple. No. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. But if we're in pain, we don't know, you know. And one thing I realized just like 2 years ago was that I really didn't have a father figure. I had no man, right? So I really had no standards, really to. So, you know, if it was, I met somebody through a friend and that friend seemed okay and he seemed okay, I gave him a chance. That was all my qualifications, right? And I have children that I have to think about. And so for a long time, I just kept it casual and I didn't want anybody around my children. But when my young daughter started growing up and doing teenage stuff, I was like, I need to make sure they have eyes. So that's where it brings me. And we make choices because of our pain, because of sadness, because of our insecurities. And we remove energies.
Adios,
For
goodbye.
men as well. So, yoni steams and lingam steams. And you're removing also ancestral stuff, right? Because we carry in our DNA, both men and women, especially women in our ovaries, right? Like the eggs we have in our ovaries were already in our mama. So we're carrying our mama's trauma. And our mama had our egg in her when she was in her grandma. So we're carrying our grandma's trauma. Like just right there, directly. Right? Plus all the other stuff, because it goes back 7 generations forward and 700 years back, right? So it's 14 generations that we're cleansing. And that's what we're doing. La casita, last year, my daughter's vision was always to support foster kids. And so I have a 5-bedroom house. My kids are all grown. And so I set it up so that we were transition housing for kids phasing out of foster care. Unfortunately, I teamed up with a company that is embezzling funds. He owes me thousands of dollars. He owes my daughter thousands of dollars. He didn't give the young adults the support that they needed. And I had to step into that father figure, which I didn't want to do, right? Because I'm in my soft era. Like I don't want to discipline anybody. Like, come to me if you're ready to work. If you're ready to do the work, I got you, and I'll guide you. But I'm not chasing anyone, you know. And so it was rough times. Like I even have a court case with one of these girls. I had to call the police, and she got 2 felonies outside my house fighting with the police. And still the whole time cursing me out, right? And so it was rough times, and it kind of put me in a deeper depression than what I already was. But it also showed me, like, it was that energy, that combative, nasty, like, just ruthless, you know, tear you to the ground. Like she said to my daughter, like, she would call her kickback whore, right? Like,
How old is she?
18 years old. She stepped up to me one time, and my daughter's 5'8", and she stood in front of her. She's like, "You better not." I was like, "Oh, you're passive aggressive." I said, "Oh no, honey, you don't know me. I'm just aggressive. I will grab you by the throat if you step up to me, baby girl. Like, you don't know me. You don't know me.
No?
Yeah, I don't play. And you're an adult, you know. I had to be. That was after the 4th time that, like, yelling and screaming, acting up in my house, you know. And so I had to set the standard. She went above and beyond. She was supposed to. I had to call the cops. You know, I had no choice. So now I have this house. I've been knocking on doors for veteran programs. I signed up for furnish finders, you know. Like, I don't mind the extended stays, you know. I have it on Airbnb because I have things that I need a permit. We can't do like night stays or weekend stays, but I have it for like monthly stays. So my vision is to be able to have it paid and not worry about it, and have it as housing for when the medicine people come into town, all the elders, right? Like, that's what I see. It's a sacred land. This tree is a giant calatrop tree. It's a tree of transformation in life. So I've been tending to this tree since 2017. It fell, and I was so busy that I didn't have time to really take care of it, right? So it stayed falling. And so when I came, that I had the time, you know, like a couple of days later, it was already growing from the fallen trunk. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna let it grow. It'll have a good base. Never in a million years did I expect it to become this. So now the yoni steams, I do it under this tree. And the person or the couple, because I have made large enough space for it to be couples, groups, like families, right? Because you're clearing all this stuff. And the people that you're really close to, that's like need to clear with you for it to truly break everything that needs to be broken. Like here, I don't really serve plant medicine, right? Because I'm a little like still baby steps here for me.
Yeah.
I come from a very Seventh-day Adventist family, like super hyper Christian fanatical, you know, where it's not even like Bible. It's like what the pastor says, you know, which is total bullshit. Because the pastor from my church was in the church in the office with the 16-year-old.
Oh my God.
So, you know, it's a business, and that's what people don't understand. Religion is a business. Situation that happened when the whole thing with the transition happened, I was filing for bankruptcy. With the payments, everything would have worked out fine. My goal was to just have my daughter being supervisor. They were supposed to take care of the hard stuff, and Mama G was going to be traveling. Like, that was my goal. That was my vision. When everything went to shit, I couldn't do the bankruptcy. I had to have it dismissed. So right now, like, I'm in foreclosure. They just rescheduled it for September, mid-September. But it was supposed to be next week. But, you know, Great Spirit's been so beautiful that it's allowed me the space to do my work and heal, to be able to be at a place where now I can show myself, right? Because I hadn't shared these stories other than with my very, very close friends. that I'm ready to be seen again. You know, absolutely. And I'm so grateful that you guys are here today. Today's an important day. Like, you guys know about the stars and the zodiac and everything that's happening, you know. So I'm very grateful. You guys represent very important male figures in my life, and they're both brothers. My little brother, so my little brother, who you represent, is unfortunately, you know, he's in the streets. He's been in the streets for a long time, right? So I really felt his presence through you when we were drumming the other day, right? Like, it was just like my little brother. And like I told you, you know, you could be my son. And then Miguel, you know, like the fact that you even look a little bit like him back in that time, like that was my brother. You know, like, I love him so much. And it's been a while, but I love him so much. So I'm so grateful, Miguel, that you're here. And
Thank you for having us and for sharing that intimate part of your life that you're ready to share. A lot of people will relate to that. But only one, like us too. A lot of the things that you mentioned, and it's also important that you're empowered. You're not playing the victim. Oh, this happened to me. You're just taking charge of whatever you need to do. Yeah, we all choose wrong in one part of our life, and sometimes we just see to look outside what is making us choose those kind of people.
I want to correct something though, right? Because it's not wrong. I truly believe that most people do the best they can with what they have. With
the information that they have.
Right? So I know I made the best decision with what I thought was the right thing at that moment.
That's true.
Every single moment of my life, I did the best I could.
You don't regret anything?
Nothing. Nothing do I regret in my life. My son is going to be graduating early in college.
Amen.
He's getting his law degree, right? But, you know, Mama got him there.
Yeah.
He played football in college with 1 year of high school experience. Because Mama left everything for 2 years and ran with it. This is what you want? Let's go. A little bit of
you support him.
Yep.
100%.
But now I'm here. And I'm the one that needs support. Right.
It's your time.
I'm tired. I'm tired.
You deserve it a long time ago.
I'm tired. I've already done my work. I've already cleared what needs to be cleared. I've worked hard. I'm ready for the support that I've given everyone. You know, like, I'm Mama G. I've always been Mama G. And I've always lived in shame for being Mama G. And I'm so grateful for my medicine family that embraced that part of me. You know, they're requested. Every ceremony I go to, I have to take my tea. Because if not, they're like, why didn't you bring your tea? You know, all the stuff that I put all my love and joy in that everybody would criticize. Now it's the honor.
Appreciate it.
And so I'm grateful to be where I'm at. And I want other women to experience the joy that I feel. Because with all of this shit going on, I'm at peace. And you can ask my friends. They're like, I have my madrina from my moon dance. I'm a moon dancer. My madrina from this, she's like, how? I don't understand it. With everything, like, you couldn't even tell. I said, what am I going to do? Keep crying? Like, I'm already dried out of crying, bro. Like, I'm ready to live life. So I'm manifesting. So I manifested this tonight. To finish breaking whatever breaks, because tomorrow's a new day, baby.
Let's break it then.
I love it.
Break it then.